What the fuck is up, y'all? This is Crazy McCormick here for Juggalo a Day, and I'm up in this motherfucking bitch. So, apparently, the sickness didn't fucking stop. This has nothing to do with the topic of the week, by the way. I just wanted to let this out. So, let's see, it was about Friday, this past Friday. I ended up working throughout the entire day. After I dropped my kids off up until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And around 2 o'clock in the morning, I ended up getting a phone call from my girlfriend, and she ended up saying that she had to go to the fucking hospital. So I take her to the hospital because she's been having dizzy spells, vertigo and whatnot. And then following that up, there's also been a lot of like internal shit that's been going on. And on top of that, there's been also a lot of throwing up. And because of that, she has not been able to just rest it off, man. It was just unbearable for her for the entire fucking day. And it finally took her until 2 in the morning to decide that she needed to go to the hospital. So I drop off my last ride. I end up taking her over to the fucking hospital. And it turns out that they think that the reason why she was having so many problems is because she has a disc in between two of, like, the, L4 and L5 of her vertebrae, of her spine. The disc in between is deteriorating. And so they think that that might be what's causing all of her problems. So because of that, she might actually have to go into surgery. In the meantime, well, we're there for like 3 hours. We get her there for at 3 in the morning, and we end up staying there until about 6. After that, we got home around 6:15, 6:30, and we try to go to sleep. We get woken up at 8 o'clock in the morning by her granny, who is watching our son because we both needed to work, but she was too sick to work, and we didn't know whether or not what she was going on was contagious, so we just kept our son away from her so she could rest and all of that. But we end up getting a phone call from her granny, who says that our son has been, like, normally when he's tired, he'll like play with his hair behind his ears, or he'll tug his ear or something like that. That's normally what babies will do to try to keep them awake. But this time, instead of tugging his ear, he was cupping it, which is a clear indication that he might have an inner ear infection. So we take him to the hospital around 9, and we're there from 9 till 11. So we're barely have any fucking sleep, and that was my Saturday morning, basically, taking people to the fucking hospital. Just people keep getting fucking sick. Although with my son, it's a little bit of a different situation. See, he was having a fever, and his ears were plugged up because his teeth are finally starting to come in. And usually that's what happens. The body temperature of a baby usually increases, so that way it can soften up the skin to let the teeth break through. So this is going to be a little bit of some shit that's going to go down because of my son teething. So, to be totally honest, as of right now, everybody's all right. Everybody's good. But I just figured that I'd say all of this because of the topic of conversation that we had last week with, whether or not we, being down with the sickness and all of that, our worst sicknesses. And the fucking shit just keeps on happening. Now, this week, on the other hand, we do have an upcoming Dark Carnival Games convention. That's right, the DCG Con is going to be this week, as of the 21st. So after I drop my kids off on Friday to take them to school, and our infant ends up going over to my mom's going to be watching all 3 of my kids over the weekend like she usually does. And she, in the meantime, my girlfriend and I are going to be going to DCG Con. So, according to the shit that we ended up seeing, the infomercial for DCG Con, Not only are they going to have all of the psychopathic games, all the games that they have for psychopathic, the Dark Carnival games, they're going to have Morton's List. I guess they're going to be having tournaments of that or something like that. Either that or just ninjas are going to be playing. Either that or, a tournament for Into the Echo Side. People are going to be playing the Quest for Shangri-La, hopefully. And then there's also going to be a lot of other tables that are going to be set for Magic the Gathering, maybe Pokemon, a lot of other trading card and deck building games that people are going to be able to play. But me personally, I'm honestly expecting a little bit of time spent in the arcade, because they actually are going to have a cabinet arcade thing. So it really raises the question, talking about games and stuff like that, whether it be trading card games, deck building games, board games, video games, what is it about these that interests us? And and the topic of conversation for this week actually ends up being, what are our favorite games? Now, me, I'm a video game player. I've been playing consoles since the ColecoVision. The first time I ever touched a console controller was back in 1985. And to be totally honest, I play so many games that I really don't have like an end-all, be-all favorite. But there are a lot of games out there that I feel have a lot of replay value. As of right now, on my gaming channel, I am going through and playing Final Fantasy VII for the billionth fucking time. Hopefully this time I'll actually be able to do some shit and successfully be able to finally fucking beat Ruby Weapon. Have not been able to beat Ruby Weapon ever, but hopefully this time I might be able to do such a thing. Now, granted, yeah, that's kind of a shameless plug for my fucking gaming channel. If you actually are into gaming, then I'll put a link in the description below. So that way you can check out some of the stuff. I'm also going back and forth between that and playing WWE 2K17. Playing a customized universe mode that's going to always have an updated version of the roster. So hopefully that will make things a little bit interesting in that game. Still kind of on the beat when it concerns like NXT and 205 Live, but I will do the best I can to try to provide. And nevertheless, though, those are a couple of games that I play, but mostly in video games. I like to play a lot of the retro games. I love coin-op games, even though they're expensive as shit in the end of it. Like, it took me $5 to actually beat Alien vs. Predator on coin-op. And also, Mac, I will say this again, Ninja Baseball Batman. Ninja Baseball Batman. Everybody remember that. Ninja Baseball Batman. So anyways, yeah, I love coin-op games. My favorite, actually, is the 6-player X-Men game. I love the fuck out of that game. And that, when it became available for download on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, believe me, I fucking bought that game. I love the play value of that video game. But I like a lot of retro games, and the one thing that I'm really a sucker for is role-playing games. Sure, they always have a slow start, but they end up progressing, and then shit gets all sorts of fucked up in those games, and that's why I like playing them. Not to mention, there's also a lot of strategy based on that. But you would think that if I like that kind of strategy, then I'd be most willing to play Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't. Mainly because I don't really have the urge to want to physically murder the dungeon master because he gets pissed off at something that I do and says, okay, fine, red dragon out of nowhere. I've heard about shit like that before. Rule number 1 when it concerns Dungeons and Dragons, don't piss off the DM. And rule number 2 of Dungeons and Dragons, do not piss off the DM. Just remember that. Now, when it concerns board games and stuff like that, seriously, I like to play board games that are very simplistic and nothing like Chutes and Ladders or Hi-Ho Cheerio or Connect 4 or anything like that. Chess, checkers. Chess is fine. That does take a little bit of strategy to figure that game out. there have been some people I've heard that have actually been able to successfully play that game and beat the game using 2 or 3 moves, which I find astonishing. But, you know, I'm not quite skilled for something like that. But when it concerns board games and stuff like that, you know, I like to play Risk. I like to play, you know, actually, I would have to say that one of my favorite games, I mean, like Risk, I like to play Sorry. Clue is a fun game. Not The Clue. Shut up, Matt. Yeah, anyways. So, you know, I like to play Clue, and The Quest for Shangri-La, actually, I find a lot of enjoyment in that game as well. And then there's also, you know, the fact that, well, I mean, I'll plug this again. I actually wrote an extension on that to involve a lot of the other dice in a D20 system. It's lost somewhere, but I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I think I still have like a PDF file of it on the like on an older computer that I still have. So I don't know, if I find that, then I'm going to release it and try to see if I can tweak it or something like that. Maybe make it so that way it'd be like, okay, well, Twisted now is part of the Nether Void or something like that. You know, Twisted and Blaze, they're all, you know, they're now Nether Void characters. I wish they would update that game a little bit more, even make it so you could buy more cards or something like that. That would be the shit. But you know, it is what it is, I guess. So that's when it concerns board games. You know, card games, I'm not really into trading card games. I tried playing Magic. I tried playing the Pokemon game. There was one deck building game that I had for a long time ago, and it was based on the X-Men that I really enjoyed. It was very similar to how other games were played for card games in the 90s. Which I found very fun and interesting. So, you know, if I find a copy of that X-Men card game, I am going to buy it, and I will show you guys how it's done. But it's been a very long time since I played that, but I found the most enjoyment out of that card game rather than playing Magic or Pokemon TCG or you know, and so I'm not really that big into trading card games and deck building games. But, you know, like, eventually, if I'm able to understand it, you know, I'll get into it. But, you know, I think that there's too much that happens with trading card games like that, and people tend to get a little bit out of control over it. Like what? Like spending $2,000 for a card of Blue Eyes White Dragon or some shit like that. Yeah, that's a little bit out of control, especially if the card doesn't really do anything. Of course, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about when it concerns Magic, but still, that's that. So mostly for me, it's board games and video games for me. So what is it that everybody's interested in? Go ahead and drop comments, share videos, do what you got to do. But until next time, I'm Crazy McCormick. We're still doing the fucking logo and banner thing. We want to see what you guys got. Put it down on the table. You got 1 week for the deadline. You have until the end of this coming Sunday to post something on our Facebook group page. So, you know the rules, man. Drop something down. And then after that, it's we determine the winner. We'll announce the winner on a later date. And the winners are going to be receiving free copies of Juggalos Against Sanity. If there's one winner that wins both the banner and the logo, then they're going to get a free copy of Juggalos Against Sanity and their choice of Morton's List or Into the Echo Side. So, thanks. Yeah. So, that's it for now. I'm out of this piece. Deuces, y'all. Minions. And my mom.
Oh, get off.
All right, peace.